Venus is Earth's evil twin. It is a planet of nightmares, where the surface temperature melts lead, the pressure crushes submarines, and the clouds rain sulfuric acid. For decades, the scientific consensus has been absolute. Venus is dead. It is a cautionary tale of a runaway greenhouse effect, a sterile, volcanic wasteland where life is impossible. But what if we have been looking at it wrong? In the early 1990s, NASA's Magellan spacecraft orbited Venus, piercing the thick clouds with synthetic aperture radar, SAR. It mapped 98% of the surface. We were told that these maps showed volcanoes, lava plains, and impact craters. But there were anomalies, data points that didn't fit the geological models, blurs, geometric patterns, and radar reflections that looked suspiciously artificial were categorized as noise or artifacts and filtered out of the public releases. However, recent whistleblowers and independent researchers using modern AI to reanalyze the raw Magellan data have uncovered a startling truth. The noise wasn't noise, it was structure. The theory is terrifyingly simple. An ancient, advanced civilization on Venus faced the climate apocalypse millions of years ago. Instead of fleeing to the stars, they went down. They utilized the planet's massive lava tubes and tectonic rifts to build a new world beneath the crust, shielded from the hellish surface. Today, we are peeling back the layers of censorship. We are exploring the 10 subterranean anomalies, vast, city-sized structures hidden beneath the Venusian rock that appear on the radar maps they tried to hide. If you believe that we are not the first civilization in the solar system, hit that subscribe button right now. Join our mission to uncover the lost history of the cosmos. And turn on notifications, because the truth is often buried deep. 1. The Maxwell Citadel, the high-altitude command. Our journey begins at the highest point on the planet, Maxwell Montes. Standing 11 kilometers high, it is the Everest of Venus. When Magellan scanned this mountain range, it found something bizarre. The peaks of Maxwell Montes are incredibly radar bright. They reflect radar waves with an intensity that baffled scientists. The official explanation is metallic snow, a theory that leads sulfide or pyrite condenses on the peaks. But the hidden data tells a different story. The high-resolution scans reveal that this reflectivity isn't scattered. It is geometric. It forms a massive, hexagonal grid structure capping the mountain range. This is the Maxwell Citadel. The theory suggests that the Venusians built their primary entrance and command center here, at the highest altitude where the pressure and temperature are slightly lower. The metallic snow is actually a massive, conductive radar shield, a roof made of exotic metamaterials designed to deflect solar radiation and sensor scans. Beneath the mountain peaks lies a hive of vertical shafts leading miles down into the crust, serving as the primary air intake and thermal regulation hub for the civilization below. 2. The Aphrodite Grid, the industrial sprawl. Ishtar Terra is a continent-sized highland near the equator. In the public maps, it looks like rough, fractured terrain. But in the raw, unscrubbed data streams, specifically in the region known as Ovda Regio, the chaotic fractures align into a disturbing order. We see a pattern of right angles and parallel lines running for hundreds of kilometers beneath the surface regolith. This is the Aphrodite Grid. It resembles the layout of a massive integrated circuit board or a city grid, but on a scale that dwarfs Tokyo or New York. Thermal emission data suggests that this area leaks heat in a rhythmic phase, pulsing pattern. Unlike the steady heat of a volcano, this suggests active machinery. The Aphrodite Grid is believed to be the industrial heart of the subterranean world, a sprawling factory complex utilizing geothermal energy from the mantle to power the civilization. The parallel lines are not cracks. They are heat exchange vents and transport tubes, glowing hot in the radar dark. 3. The Serpent's Highway, Baltus Vallis. Venus is home to the longest lava channel in the solar system, Baltus Vallis. It winds for nearly 7,000 kilometers, slightly longer than the Nile River. Geologists say it is a remnant of an ancient lava flow, but the physics don't make sense. For a lava tube to remain this consistent in width, about 2 kilometers wide, for 7,000 kilometers without cooling or branching is fluid dynamically impossible. The hidden radar analysis shows that the channel has a roof. It is not an open trench. It is a tube, and it is perfectly uniform. This is the Serpent's Highway. It is not a geological feature, like it is a planetary transit system. The Venusians likely reinforced a natural lava tube or bored a new one to connect their subterranean cities. This is a 7,000-kilometer-long hyperloop tunnel, shielded by miles of rock. The radar signature shows periodic nodes or stations every few hundred kilometers, bulges in the tube that correspond to vertical shafts reaching down into the deeper crustal cities. 4. The Tesserae Vaults, Alpha Regio. Alpha Regio is one of the oldest parts of Venus, characterized by tesserae terrain, extremely deformed, folded, and chaotic rock. It looks like a crumpled sheet of paper. NASA describes it as the result of eons of tectonic stress. However, artificial intelligence pattern recognition applied to Alpha Regio has identified a repeating fractal anomaly. Amidst the chaos, there are pockets of perfect stillness, voids in the rock that absorb radar completely. These are the Tesserae Vaults. They appear to be massive, hollowed-out geodes or domes protected by the chaotic terrain above. The theory is that the crumpled surface is artificial camouflage, a layer of debris intentionally piled up to hide the habitats beneath. These vaults represent the residential districts, the oldest cities built when the surface first began to burn. They are bunkers of the apocalypse, buried under artificial mountains. 5. The phosphine refineries, the cloud cities. In 2020, astronomers detected phosphine gas in the Venusian atmosphere. On Earth, phosphine is produced only by life or heavy industry. The discovery was controversial, but the source remains unknown. The hidden radar maps point to a specific region, the Atla Regio Rift. Radar scans of this rift valley show tall, needle-like spires protruding from the canyon floor, reaching up toward the cloud deck. These spires appear to be venting gas. These are the phosphine refineries. The subterranean civilization is not entirely cut off from the surface. They are harvesting the atmosphere. These spires are immense atmospheric processors, sucking in the sulfuric acid clouds and separating the chemicals to create water and breathable air for the underground. The phosphine is the industrial exhaust of this process, a signal flare that we accidentally spotted, proving that active chemistry is happening below. 6. The Cyclops Command, Sapus Mons. Sapus Mons is a volcano with 2 summits. In standard images, it looks like a typical shield volcano. But in the interferometric radar data, which measures surface texture, the dual peaks show a startling symmetry. They are seemingly identical, spaced perfectly apart, and surrounded by a circular moat that does not follow the natural flow of gravity. This is the Cyclops Command. It is theorized that this is not a volcano at all, but a geothermal power plant disguised as one. The moat is a cooling ring, a massive heat sink designed to dissipate the thermal output of the city below. The radar signature indicates that the interior of Sapus Mons is hollow. Unlike a volcano which has a magma chamber, Sapus Mons has a void chamber with a geometry that suggests internal levels and floors. It is a hollow mountain, a fortress watching over the Mont Mons volcanic belt. 7. The Obsidian Shield, the radar dark zones. Across the Venusian plains, there are patches of land that appear completely black on radar maps. In radar terms, black means the surface is perfectly smooth, smoother than a mirror. NASA explains these as young lava flows that haven't been broken up yet. But these dark patches often occur in perfect circles or squares, shapes that lava does not naturally form. These are the obsidian shields. They are likely the roofs of vast, wax, shallow biodomes. To survive underground, you need agriculture. These smooth, radar dark areas are possibly giant solar collectors or heat sinks made of polished obsidian-like glass. They sit flush with the surface, collecting the ambient heat and dim light that filters through the clouds, transmitting it down to the hydroponic gardens below. They are the skylights of the underworld. 8. The Rift Colony, Beta Regio. Beta Regio is dominated by a massive rift valley, a crack in the planet's crust. It is a violent, tectonically active zone. Conventional logic says you don't build a city on a fault line. But the Venusians might have thought differently. The radar maps of the rift walls show a honeycomb structure. Instead of sheer cliffs, the walls of the canyon are riddled with thousands of uniform openings, like the cliff dwellings of the Anasazi on Earth, but on a titanic scale. This is the Rift Colony. By building into the walls of a deep canyon, the civilization utilizes the natural airflow and thermal updrafts of the rift for ventilation. The honeycomb openings are likely exhaust ports or hangar bays for subsurface craft. The thermal inertia of this region is far higher than the surrounding rock, suggesting the canyon walls are hollow and generating their own heat. 9. The magnetic anomaly, the shield generator. Venus has no global magnetic field. This is one of the reasons the surface died. The solar wind stripped away the water. However, the Pioneer Venus orbiter and subsequent probes detected localized, fleeting magnetic flux ropes, or bubbles near the surface. The hidden maps correlate these magnetic bubbles with a specific location, the Lavinia Planitia. Deep beneath this flat plane, radar penetration suggests a massive, rotating metallic mass that is not the planet's core. This is the shield generator. It appears to be an artificial attempt to restart the planet's magnetic field, or at least create a magnetic bubble over a specific underground sanctuary. The civilization is trying to terraform their world from the inside out, spinning a massive dynamo to deflect the solar radiation and protect their subterranean electronics from solar flares. 10. The necropolis, the Venera graveyard. Finally, we look at the few places where humans have actually touched the surface. The Soviet Venera probes landed, sent back images for a few minutes, and then died. Or so we were told. The official story is that the heat and pressure crushed them. But a reanalysis of the landing site coordinates of Venera 13 and 14 reveals something chilling. They didn't just land on random rocks. They landed on a textured pavement, interlocking stones that look strikingly like a ruined road. Radar maps of this region show that these roads lead to a massive, circular depression, a crater that is too shallow to be an impact and too symmetric to be a volcano. This is the necropolis. It is likely an ancient surface city, ruined and abandoned millions of years ago. The entrance to the old world. The Venera probes essentially landed on the driveway of a buried bunker. The reason they failed so quickly might not just be the heat. They might have been intercepted. The radar shadow near the landing sites shows movement, shifts in the terrain that happened after the probes landed. The picture painted by these hidden radar maps is not one of a dead planet, but of a planet in hibernation. The 10 locations we explored today suggest a civilization that saw the end of their world coming and executed a master plan of survival. They retreated into the veins of their planet, sealing the doors behind them. The noise in the Magellan data was not an error. It was the signature of a megastructure. The parallel lines, the hollow mountains, and the infinite tunnels are the scars of a species that refused to go extinct. NASA is currently planning 2 new missions to Venus, Da Vinci Plus and Veritas. They say these missions are to study the atmosphere and geology. But perhaps the real mission is to knock on the door of the citadels we have identified today. We are looking for aliens in deep space, ignoring the possibility that a sister civilization is sleeping just one planet over, buried beneath the clouds of hell, waiting for the surface to cool. Do you think the government is hiding the true nature of Venus? Are these radar anomalies evidence of cities? Or just tricks of the light? Let me know your theory in the comments below. And if you want to be part of the team that digs up the truth, share this video and subscribe. The solar system is crowded. We just need to know where to look.